What's up, Alphas? It's your boy, Alphas May, looking cute, looking clean, looking sexy. And this is Just a Fan Extra. And you know, to my right, we have Tori Afro Cummy 765. Up top, we have Montay from the Broke Ugly Dude. And to the right, eating a chicken wing.
Eating a chicken wing from the Bahamas.
We have
this is straight from AstroWorld. Actually, I brought this back. That's
that's the devil's chicken.
Bro. I didn't know that was going on. I was all the way in the back, bro, because I wasn't there for that. So I wasn't there for the music for sure.
And his name is Unico Williams. You can search everybody in the comment section below. We're gonna hurry up and get in this AstroWorld. Travis Scott had a concert. For the people that don't know, Travis Scott had a concert in his hometown named after his hit album that went platinum, AstroWorld. Fortnite has took his name down. Unfortunately, prayers out to the people. A lot of people was injured. The crowd was insane. They told them they couldn't get in and they just ran in anyway. And
the gates.
Yeah, they got the gates and took off. And I don't care what you got. You can't raise up that crowd. So they were insane, a lot overcrowded. Because of that too, they were already overcrowded. So it's kind of the venue fault. People are saying it's Travis Scott fault for the not stopping the show. They saying it's the venue fault for not being too big. They said it was the fans' fault for taking over the gate and just running in anyway. So it's a lot of blame to go around. We kind of talked about it, but we haven't heard from one person. Unico, what are your thoughts about the whole crazy incident? Again, prayers for the family.
8 people dead, 300 people in the hospital.
Prayers for those.
I gotta say, me having been a performer myself, I'm not sure if I'm not making excuses, but if Travis Scott was the type of performer that I was in my heyday, I was faded, I was off of brownies, I was off of all type of different things. I can understand how a crowd that big, I wouldn't understand like stuff was going on in the crowd. But if he was like he did his whole set, he did all 70 minutes of it. So, again, prayers up to them. But I mean, we need to figure out what's going on. Like, was he able to actually see that people were being harmed? Were people yelling help, or were they saying, yeah? That was a big crowd, man. And I don't want to put all that on him, but I think he's doing the right thing. Like, even though he might have had the greatest 70 minutes of his life, he 100% is apparently paying for all the funerals. He's paying for therapy and he's refunding everybody's money. So, I mean, I think that was the best route to go. Again, that's between him and God. As far as if he heard the cries for help and that stopped the show, people is taking L's out here. I kind of feel like the ambulance driving through the crowd had something to do with like giving an indication that maybe something's going on out there. You might want to check on that. That's your show.
Well, when the young lady rushed to the stage and told him people were in the crowd dying, I mean, that might have been the.
I'm gonna let you go for sure, but I didn't hear that part, and so I'm just going off of what I know. And so I didn't know that part, but I do know that much is that I can see it both ways. I've been in smaller crowds than that, and I didn't realize stuff was going on in the audience because I was faded or I'm just having a good time. At the end of the day, though, I mean, the ambulances probably should have been a big sign that something was going on. They were riding through the crowd, of a big ass crowd at that. So ambulances
are on top of it.
All of that. So people were on top of it. So it just sounds like people are having a good time. So I don't want to place a whole bunch of blame on him. As far as him knowing that he needed to stop the show, because as far as COVID rules go, obviously it had nothing to do with the crowd, but I'm sure that he still has to have his safety protocols where people have to be kind of far away from him too. I don't feel like he had that connection with the crowd other than they saying yeah to my music. So we're just gonna keep everybody up in prayer, and that's my thoughts on it. I don't want to put anybody at fault, if you will, but that apology was wild.
He put a filter on his apology video.
That too, and nobody works harder than what's the mom of the Kardashians? What her name is?
Kris Jenner.
Nobody works harder than the devil other than Kris Jenner, and he had to do what he had to do and make that video. That's wrong.
So Joe accusing them of doing the Kanye J Prince. And
See how people do you.
Yo, Kanye. Sometimes be a little lighthearted in between. Seriously, yeah, but Kanye completely just read that off a piece off J Prince's phone.
It wasn't even his phone,
bro. I can tell Kanye have never seen any of those words in his life, and J Prince just looking at the camera like this. And he just
holding the cue cards.
Like, if Kanye wrote that, let's be honest, if Kanye wrote that, he would know those words better than he did. That sounds like he's just writing something that a teacher wrote.
Yeah.
But in terms of Travis Scott, I'll put blame on him. I put blame on the venue. I'll put blame on the fan. I think you can put blame on everyone because everyone did something wrong.
Yep.
Sooner or later, you notice something weird. I know he might have a situation where he didn't notice it, but it was a lot of indicators that said he should have known. Now, to Joe's point, he could have been very faded and whatever, and
it's a festival.
Yeah, so that could lead to but being faded also can lead to bad situations if you're not aware of what's going on. But it's on everybody. The fans got to take responsibility too. Again, a few weeks on Man Cave, we take an accountability episode. If the people tell you there's too many people in there, you can't rush in there anyway. It's a reason every building has a limit that literally the fire department puts on the wall that tells the venue you cannot have more people than this because bad things will happen.
Capacity is capacity.
Yeah. Joe, every event you ever did, because I did this too, every event they tell you when you rent the building, you cannot have more people than this because I know you might not read that paper up there.
And don't count. I don't count. I know I ain't count nothing.
Yeah, so
nope.
Other than the money, but I ain't count the people.
So when you sign,
but that's
paper,
what the tickets are for to a certain extent.
Yeah. So when you sign that paper, telling you got this venue, they got the number of capacity in there, and they say it's our job as the venue and your job. We got to make sure that only this many people are here. So that's also on the venue for making it overstacked, and then the people rushing in too. Travis not stopping it. Everybody responsible. And to get an opposite reaction of Unico, Tori, your thoughts?
Oh, you just know it's gonna be opposite. Okay.
Like I said, it's a very sad situation. I'm gonna start it off with that. Like I said, eight people died, 300 people in the hospital. There's a 9-year-old in a coma, but Travis Scott's got to take a little more blame than what people are trying to. Now, as an avid 4chan user, I do not think that he sacrificed this audience for more fame, even though he's finna get more famous off of it. But I feel like
a niche percentage, but okay.
Yeah, I feel like all of the videos that have been all over Twitter. I keep on going back to that video. And you guys can look up these videos. There's literally this young white woman. She gets up on the stage and you hear her telling him, you need to stop. There's people being hurt. And of course, she's saying this not directly to Travis. She's saying this to one of the gentlemen on stage. But me personally, I've got to imagine that freaking... I hate to agree with the cops, but in this case, they said it best. At any given point, if he would have stopped the music and just stopped the show, it would have made the situation 100 times easier to deal with. It would have cut out a lot of this stuff that was going on. Like I said, people keep on pointing out the fact they showed that one clip where it's like, oh, this dude fainted, get him out of there. And as I've watched this video, you're saying this as they crowd surf a corpse out of the crowd. You say this to security to get him, and then not even 10 seconds later, you go back into your song. You just, and like I was telling them earlier, I've watched Travis Scott put a full stop to a show, shut down the music, shut down everything because he lost his shoes crowd surfing. You're going to tell me you couldn't shut down the show while people are getting crushed to death in the audience, but you can shut down the show because you washed your shoes crowd surfing. There's plenty of blame to go around for everybody, but a good portion of it should go to Travis Scott, in my opinion.
And finally,
as the artist that was on the stage, and one thing these artists like to pride themselves on, that I wish he would have prided himself on in this situation, is crowd control. The thing that kills me is that when he told the people to stop so they could get that one body through there, they listened. They got that one body through there. Now, if you'd have put a full stop to the concert, you'd have used that crowd control, maybe a few more people would have survived. Maybe a few less people would have been injured. And it's all well and good. He's paying for therapy. Everybody's getting refunds, this and that. He's paying for funerals. But I hope that this is taken as a lesson that you can't be too proud to stop the show. Because I feel like that's what it was. He didn't want to stop the show. And since he didn't want to stop the show, people's lives got stopped. And that's a tragedy. Like I said, I've been drop kicked in the face by an Asian guy with dreadlocks in a mosh pit before. I've had metal concerts put full, and that's what people, it's a mosh pit. Well, let me tell you something about mosh pit culture. In mosh pit culture, when somebody falls down, you pick them up. They don't get trampled. No one stays on the ground. You don't fall in a mosh pit. If you do fall in a mosh pit, the people around you pick you up to keep you safe. So I'm just saying it's not all his fault, but anyone who's saying that he couldn't have done something to make the situation way less detrimental is crazy.
Yeah. No.
If he stops playing, he starts directing, the situation's a little less worse than it is. That's just my opinion.
That is true. We're gonna get Montay Murrell himself. What are your thoughts on the AstroWorld controversy? And what everybody else said.
I was letting everybody get their thoughts, because if you want to put me on the side, I'm probably on the other end of the spectrum. I think he's getting a little bit too much direct blame on this. I feel like everybody wants to put the blame solo on him.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not with that.
It's his direct fault. And I think he's just getting too much blame in that aspect. First off, I wanted to bring up a couple of notes, a couple of things that I don't think everybody's necessarily aware of. I think everybody just probably look at like the one article and just went through like he say, she say stuff. So reports actually say, most reports, especially the Houston Chronicle, actually reports that Travis Scott stopped the show 3 to 4 times when he was aware or was told that there were some people that needed help. He stopped his show 3 to 4 times. Matter of fact, it's also reported that he cut his show off early, 15 to 20 minutes earlier than his show was supposed to go on. Also, it was reported that after his show, he went off to a little spot and he was not aware that people were hurt and that there were actually fatalities. And when he was told and was aware of that, he actually left and went to go see what had happened. But people are making it seem like, they're spreading out word that he didn't stop his show, that he did his full show, when there's actually reports saying that none of that was true, that he stopped his show multiple times, that he was trying to point out. And then the thing that people are misunderstanding, a lot of what happened started earlier than when his show came on. People actually stampeded and broke through some of the barricades as early as 2:00 in that afternoon, which has nothing to do with him.
But
that
he's
has more to do with
that multiple times before.
He wasn't even on. He wasn't even on at 2:00 in the afternoon.
No, but I'm saying, if we're looking at the whole picture, Travis Scott, we can go through Twitter, everything. Travis Scott has a reputation for telling. 2015, when he took that charge for starting a riot.
I got you on the past, but I'm trying to bring up just the current situation.
Yes, but I'm saying the past behavior.
I got his past behavior, but 2:00, he's not there when, not to mention, I remember Unico brought up a point that it's possible, some artists, that may be a little faded or whatever. Is it not also possible, and probably very probable, that a good chunk of the audience was also possibly under
Oh yeah, they
a
was
lot
out
of
there sticking people
alcohol,
with needles.
a lot of
They had
other
the
drugs
Narcan
and things of that
security
nature,
officer.
to where they also would not have been in their right mind, and also they're breaking through barricades, which has more to do with the Houston Police Department and the security force that was there, supposed to help control that when they broke through at 2 o'clock. His show wasn't until 9. So if they started breaking through barricade stuff at 2, with 7 hours before he ever showed up to have his performance started, what does that have to do with him?
Yeah,
Which means
but
that there was
the bad
trouble
stuff
already
didn't
brewing before
start
he even
until
came
he
there.
started, though. Like I said,
And
of
then,
course,
like I said, the main trouble started when they kept advancing even more towards the stage when his show was starting and preparing to
crowd
start.
crush.
But that means that a lot of the pressure and trouble happened. Well, not a lot, but some of it started before he got on, as he was starting. And then if you add that to where, yes, he also stopped his show multiple times.
But,
He also
okay.
cut his show off early. Now, yeah, there are other things where, like, yeah, he could have stopped the show a lot longer. And some people are saying, well, you should have noticed the audience, you know, that there's
After
something
the
wrong with
first
there's multiple
time you stop the
ambulances
show, I
going on
think
and
you
stuff
just
there.
stop.
But something that people need to be made aware of, things like sometimes ambulances, not all the time, but sometimes ambulances trying to help people passing out at concerts are actually quite common for people to pass out at concerts,
Somebody
people to have
passing
trouble
out,
like that. So it's
exhaustion.
also a possibility that he was not aware that there are people that are like fatally hurt in a crowd of 50,000 people. When he got booming lights, booming music behind him, 50,000 people crowd surfing in front of him. And people are expecting him to be like, oh, you should have seen these 8 people that tragically lost their lives. You should have seen these 300 plus other people and their random injuries in a crowd of 50,000, where the vast majority of them are cheering his name or saying different things. Because to me, if you're trying to sell me the idea, and it just be me real, you're trying to sell me the idea that the majority of a 50,000 person crowd was telling him, stop your show, that is a lie.
That's a hard.
Because
that's
a lie.
But I'm saying from the video evidence of people getting on stage telling people that they should stop the show.
And the thing about it, his show was stopped early. But you gotta look at the other thing besides it. A lot of these videos that people are showing on Twitter and everything, they're of one camera angle.
Exactly.
On one corner of the stage, on one corner of the area that's completely outside, there's 50,000 deep. In the camera angles, a lot of people they're seeing camera angles of how many? A few hundred at best. They're not seeing the entirety of the crowd probably cheering and rapping his songs and things of that nature.
Yeah.
Like, I hate when social media spreads a lot of things, but they don't spread a lot of facts. And they show you like, this is my perspective, this is my video that I have. But things like, oh yeah, he did stop people or like try to get people for help for people possibly 3 to 4 times, you know, if the reports are true. There's no videos of that being shown.
Have we not seen?
Or his show actually ended.
I've seen the videos of him stop the show once.
There's no video of that being shown.
We should have.
Or like, there's no video. Like people were surging and breaking through barricades as early as 2 o'clock that afternoon. No video of that being shown. I don't like it. I don't like that. Like, not all the facts are always shown on social media. So like when tragedies like this happen, I don't go to social media to look at them, because a lot of times all the facts are never told on social media. I hate
a lot of times all the facts are never told, period.
So like in that aspect, do I think that he deserves some blame? Yes, he deserves some blame.
Okay.
It's your show.
That's all I want. Because there are people out there acting like he's scot-free. He was just doing his job, and I just think that don't set right with me.
A little few and far between. I'm not gonna say that people think he just deserves to go scot-free. No, I'm not gonna say that.
But get murdered. Period.
But like, do you deserve some blame? Yes, but does the Houston Police Department deserve some blame? Yeah, they do. Does the security force that's going on at AstroWorld deserve some blame? Yes, they deserve some blame. So deserves all of this blame that's being focused on him? No, he doesn't.
What's the venue? What's the venue?
Does the venue owe some? Like, yes, they are. Like, I'm saying, it's plenty of blame to go around, but everybody's trying to focus it on one man.
I want to know who the venue was. Was it Astro's Field? Like, was it on?
That's all I'm saying, bro. Like,
we got.
That's all I'm saying, bro. I think he's getting a little bit too much to try to personally blame.
I'm pretty sure it was an outdoor venue.
It's an outdoor venue. Like think about it, everybody. Like, to blame one person on something that a lot of which he has no control over.
The reports
He
are
can't
saying
control the
that but they told him beforehand. The reports, you can go and look up their reports saying that they told him
to be crazy.
they told him beforehand that there were people.
we gotta get
if
out
they
of
rushed
here.
the gates
This is a
at
passionate
2, they were
discussion.
telling. He knew beforehand how over capacity the crowd was.
Yeah,
How was he going to
But see, the thing about it though, the venue let them in.
Yeah, I know this is a very passionate discussion, so
like
we
I
gotta
said, the
get out
venue
of here
takes the
real
most
quick.
blame. The venue is taking. We are all in.
Well, they arguing, so I'm gonna end this show right now. As you can see, this is a very passionate discussion. Leave in the comments your thoughts. Yeah, so we're gonna let this go. They are still going. I know y'all can't hear them. I kind of muted them so y'all can't see, so they're gonna argue a little bit more. But again, I appreciate y'all for watching. This is the Just a Fan Extra, and I appreciate y'all. We gotta get out of here. Peace.